Happy Monday, everybody. Today is May 22nd, 2023, and today S&P 500 SPY closed a doji candle. This is an indecision candle. Basically, market can go anywhere from here. So let's review where do we go from here. And before I go further, if you're liking the content, please hit the like button and please share with your friends and family. If you are making money and if you want to say thank, there's a PayPal link. I will appreciate all donations. Okay, guys. All right, so S&P 500 SPY. This is ETF for S&P 500. You can see there is an indecision candle. This is like a doji candle. Basically, market is not sure. It went all the way up and then it went all the way down and then basically it closed flat. Okay, this is 0.4%, which is flat. And if I go to MES chart, which is futures, this is what I use to basically chart on a cycle analysis. So you can see what's happening on MES. You can see we are, so tomorrow 23rd of May here is the top of this cycle. You can see this green cycle. You can see tomorrow, which is Tuesday, you can see this is futures, so MES is still running. So that's why you're seeing a green candle here, but that's fine. Futures have nothing to do with cash market. So you can see today, Monday 22nd, we closed flat and now futures are a bit higher, but this is the day we should be expecting a top, and it's quite possible we already made a top on last Friday, and if not, then today is, I mean, Tuesday, tomorrow is the last day to make the top and then sell off. Okay, there are a lot of talks in the market about debt ceiling. We still have a week or so. I think 1st June is when if they don't realize or they don't conclude on anything, then the market is going to drop. But anyhow, these talks are going to pick up and there will be a lot of news coming around this week. So I do expect a dump, and it's going to be a buy the dip. Okay, so this dump, it's going to be probably so from now, today is 22nd, so next 2 weeks is very critical, and I'm expecting dump for next 2 weeks, and that will present a really nice buy the dip opportunity for a new all-time high, basically this year's high. So I'm looking for around somewhere around 4300 top out. Okay, so we'll figure it out when the time comes, but for now, be very careful. Look for the dip. Okay, I'm not calling it a dump, that's a dip which I'm looking. And you can see this cycle, there are two cycles coming, this yellow cycle, this blue cycle, bigger cycle, and also this green cycle. All three cycles will put a lot of downward pressure on S&P 500. And also you can see this purple cycle, this is from US 2000, which is IWM Russell 2000. So there's a lot of bearish pressure gonna be putting on S&P 500. And also I want to show you all sectors are still very weak. Only tech is holding. All other sectors are very weak. You can see XLE daily chart really very close to the previous lows. XLU really weak. XLV again very weak. XLF is the weakest, which we'll discuss later, but I'm looking for lower prices. Industrial XLI is kind of flat, and real estate sector is also very weak. Okay, so all sectors are very weak. Just tech sector is holding S&P 500, and there's not a lot of market breadth or depth, and that's going to start showing up very soon. As soon as tech sells off, this is going to be a lower pressure. Okay, and this is the chart. You can see we are basically nowhere. We close flat. This is MES futures chart. You can see we're in the sell zone. My sell zone is between these dotted lines, gray dotted lines, and this purple line. So here is perfect time to sell. Okay, on Friday we came here, we sold off today. Again, we're back in this zone, and this rotation is 4%. We should be looking for a dip. Okay, my minimum target is 4,000 or below. So this is my buy zone below 4,000. Okay, at minimum I'm looking to buy here. All right, and then also I want to show you this rotation chart. You can see this rotation is all 375, and you can see how nicely this rotation works. You can see this 375, it's a good swing rotation. Then we got 400 points pump, then again dump, and now we got 375. Now we're a little bit selling off. Okay, so all points are all charts are pointing to lower prices, so be very careful here. And let's go to look at SPY, which is the ETF we can use to buy. One thing to note, there are multiple gaps. Okay, all these green lines, these dotted lines, are gaps to fill. You can see this massive gap here around 395. Now, most likely all these gaps will be filled. We just don't know when. Okay, so most likely this gap will be filled. I'm looking for a dump. I don't know if we can go and fill this gap, depend on how deep the sell-off will be. um, it will be good to get this gap filled now, else if it doesn't get filled, if it just pumps from 401, if it just goes here and then pulls back, that means it will come back later on to fill this gap, so that's not going to be good. So it's ideal for this to fill and then pump, but since market is now going higher, it went higher than this candle, this reversal candle. It went higher than that, so there's low probability we're going to fill this gap. Most likely we're going to come back later on, end of the year or next year, to fill this gap. So for now, looking for these two gaps to fill at minimum, 406 and 401. This is green box is my buy zone. Okay, so this is when I'm looking for a dump to come and look to fill this dip, and then we're going to be looking for a pump later on. So look to take profits, guys. Market is just like chopping around, not doing much. And also, if I zoom out, you can see we are in this big resistance zone. You can see here this resistance here, this whole area here. If I draw a box, you can see this whole area is a big resistance zone. All right, big resistance here. So you can see it's not ideal to look for any buying opportunities here. Just look to sell, okay, and look to sell or take profits. So this is US 500. You can also watch this support trend line. If you want to draw a trend line, look for at least at minimum, look for a back test of this before we go higher, okay. All right, so that covers S&P 500, and let's quickly look at VIX. VIX looks like it bottomed, and this was on Thursday. Looks like it bottomed, so cycle can be one a day here and there, and now we're looking for a pump. Okay, VIX was up 2%, so let me bring on the other moving averages. You can see it's as long as it's below this red line, which is 50 SMA line, around 19, we are good, and mainly below 20. So as soon as you see a pump above 20, you got to be very, very careful, okay? For VIX, you can buy VXX. If this is an ETF, you can buy call options for that. You can see VXX is 0.11%, or UVXY. UVXY, if you want to trade VIX, this was also up 0.31%. One other thing I wanted to show you, this is US economic calendar. Today was basically just not a lot, just Bullard was speaking. Tomorrow we have PMI around 9:45, manufacturing PMI, and then Fed FOMC meetings are also coming on Wednesday. So tomorrow we can still close flat, and maybe Fed FOMC meeting we will see something in the meeting minutes or something that will basically uh, put the downward pressure on market. And also there's initial jobless claims also coming, and then also there's PCE coming, core PCE. This is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. So we have to be very careful. A lot of economic news is coming, and knowing in Canada we had higher inflation last week. We got higher inflation than the expectation, and market sold off, and gold started selling since that news. And you can see gold was selling since last week, mainly due to that. You can see this big sell-off started coming from there. So I'm expecting there could be something in this week. Something will come up which will cause this sell-off. All right, so get rid of that. Now let's moving along. US 100 MES chart. So this is, look at this chart, guys. Like, look at this guy, just a parabolic move up. Okay, you want to wait for a pullback at minimum. It's look how far away is from mean. Mean is around this 50 SMA line, this red line. This red line is where market always likes to come back. Okay, let me show you clearly. If I hide some of these moving averages just to show you, you can see always 50. Market likes to come back to this 50. Okay, so from here, how far are we from 50 moving average? Let's say from here we are around 5%, 5.5%. So it's very healthy for market to pull back to 50, and that will be a good buy the dip opportunity. Okay, you can see every time it goes back up, pulls back, goes down, goes back. It's like a magnet. This red line, this is 50 moving average. So now it's like parabolic. Okay, it's going very far away, and also there's divergence. You can see on PPO there's divergence. RSI is kind of flat, but I just want to show you something else on US 500. You can see or not, it's also divergence here, but SPY, I already charted it. You can see SPY has divergence, PPO is lower, RSI is lower, and price is going higher. So that's not a good sign. So that means we are expecting a dump. All right. So be very careful here. This is a parabolic move. I do want it to go down. There's also this trend line coming here, okay? So most likely the best case would be to come back to this trend line, which will be ideal with the my pullback, and then go higher, all right? And if I go to triple Qs, I already drawn a buy zone here. I do want it to go a little bit lower. There are multiple gaps on triple Qs here. This around 306 and 311, 312, 317. A lot of gaps here. So most of these gaps should be filled. Anywhere here you should be looking to buy. Okay, this is a parabolic move again with divergence. Most likely it's gonna fail. 1 hour chart, you can see, I think it's not showing here, but on futures it's very clean. US 100, you can see we're going higher with like big divergence on RSI and PP. Okay, we made equal highs, so we could make a double top and then go down. So be very careful here, guys. Okay, now moving along. One other thing I want to show you here. This is the other chart which I use for NASDAQ. You can see we are very close to this purple line, this top purple line. This top purple line, okay, every time we come here, we sell off, okay. You can see here, came very close to top purple line, we went to bottom of the purple line. Again here, very close to top purple line, bottom of the purple line and below. So for now, this bottom purple line is around 13,000. So at minimum, I'm expecting a dump till there. And also, if I go here, this is other chart. This is regression chart. Okay. Now look at here. Every time we were below, above this yellow line, we got a dump. Also here now we are above yellow line. So let's see. At least we can get go to around 11,480. I don't know if we're gonna go that far, but at minimum we should look to touch at least this 13,000 here. Okay. And it's possible we can come back later in next year or later part of this year when S&P 500 tops, but we'll talk about it at that time. But for now, look to buy this dip, and you should be only looking to take profits and only shorting. US 30, this is the US 30 chart. Again, it's finding support on this 50 SMA line, looking for lower prices, find some buying here and then bounce. US 2000, this is a 2000 list of 2000 smaller companies in North America. So it's bouncing now, but there's significant risk coming very soon. So looking for a little bit more lower prices. This is the one which should sell off more compared to NASDAQ and S&P 500. So looking for lower prices here. Let's keep moving. Oil, again, kind of flat today. You can see in the flat area, I'm looking for selling pressure on oil very soon. Looking for very close to previous lows. Natural gas was down. Or if I go to 1 hour chart, if you look at my previous video, I told you there's a gap here. So I'm looking for that gap to fill. Looks like it's making a bear flag. Okay, so if you want to draw a trend line, let's go and draw a trend line here. If you take this as a flag, and then if this flag breaks, it's going to still come around 2.8, still away from my target. I'm still looking for these lower prices on natural gas. So let's get rid of this. Also, the cycle low is coming around here. So I think if we once we get this gap fill, that's going to be a good price to buy. Also, you can see a couple of days ago, last Friday, we got this reversal candle. Now we're selling off. There's also some support here around 2.32. So we'll see how low it goes. I don't know if it's going to go all the way here, but if it goes there, that's going to be a good price to buy. You can buy UNG. Okay, those who don't know, who are new, you can buy UNG ETF, which is to trade natural gas. Bitcoin looks like it's making a flag. Okay, there are two ways. I posted a short video on Bitcoin over the weekend. You can see what's going on with Bitcoin. It's making two things. Okay, it's making a bear flag and a triangle. So let's see if it's making a triangle. We can draw a trend line like this. If you want to trade a triangle, draw a trend line like this from top to bottom. And then usually the price, the target of a trend line is the distance. And if I move this to here, let's say it breaks down, it's around 24,000. Okay. And then the other way is to, let's say if it's making a flag, and if this is a flag post, and if it's making a flag and if it breaks down, depending on when it breaks down, it's coming slightly lower, more around 23,657. Okay. So the point is, it's very close to what I'm expecting. So it's about to break down, and with weakness in S&P 500, I'm looking for lower prices in Bitcoin and crypto. Ethereum will follow Bitcoin. And again, this is a buy zone here around below 1700 to 1600, looking to buy there. Also, this is a bear flag, same concept. If I take a distance from here to here, this is a flag post. If I move it here, depending on when it breaks out, could go even to like 1580. Okay, so anything around 1600 is a good buy on Ethereum. All right, so let's move along. I think I covered mostly. So this is the rates going higher. You can see it's making higher highs, looking very, very bullish. Looks like if we get a sell-off, it might go even higher. This thing is not basically looking for a little bit more, little bit of downside because there's a gap here. So also the cycle low is coming here. So let's see. I don't think we're going to get that big of a pullback now. Most likely we're going to get a higher pullback. And basically now S&P 500 will be going down, which will be very bullish for mortgage rates. So I think most likely we're going to go higher to fill these gaps. You can buy PFIX. This is the ETF to trade rates. They trade along same. Okay. This is the bond market. Bond market keeps selling off. Bond market is telling us something else compared to S&P 500. This is the smart money traders. Okay. You can see it made a flag, and now instead of going higher, it's going lower. So it looks like it wants to go back to this support here. I don't see a lot of support. This is a support area here. So if I draw a box, this whole area is a big support here. So looks like it wants to come back to here. Okay. All right, let's move along. I think I skipped gold. Let's quickly look at gold. This is the gold market. You can see now it made a new low. This low, it made a new low. Looking for this bounce to fail. I think we're gonna get a bounce, so you can draw something like this, a trend line, and then I think it's gonna most likely fail depending on when this bounce happens. Probably we're gonna get a little bit of pumps at some time, and then make a lower high and then go low, and then this is the zone to buy, and anywhere around 1900 will be good zone to buy, and then we're gonna go higher to a new all-time high later on this year. That's my most likely probability. So I think cycle is coming here, so I'm looking for higher prices like this. So looking for some time here. Now, depending on when do we get there, looking for lower prices here and then a bounce. Same thing with silver. You can draw something like this on silver, a trend line. Actually, this is a trend line. You can see this dotted looks like very nice trend line, very close to the trend line. So something like this. So looking for a retest and then a failure. Dollar is basically looking for it's very interesting. Dollar should, with S&P 500 going lower, dollar should be going higher. But cycle is telling me it's going to go lower. So we'll see how it goes. Overall, there could be some little bit of more upside, but eventually I'm looking for lower prices. So next couple of weeks, maybe it will go a little bit more higher and then go lower. We will see and we will figure it out. Okay. Let's move along. Gold miners selling off with gold. Looking for lower prices in gold miners. There are multiple gaps. You can see all these green lines are gaps. So looking for a little bit bounce. Okay, little bit of bounce and then sell off to buy. Most likely we're gonna go to 30, below 30. There's 29.16, and there's also a big gap here around 27.5. So that could be also a good target to buy gold miners before we get a bounce later on. So I'm expecting a bounce later on at the end. Let's move along to oil sector. Looks like let's go to 1 hour chart. Did we make a gap? We did not fill this gap. So there are multiple gaps to the downside. I'm looking for lower prices on oil. Basically, this is big gap is my target. So most likely we'll get that filled. Utility sectors is looking very, very weak. There's a gap here, looking for that gap to fill. Healthcare sector is flat, looking for lower prices. There's a gap here, looking for that gap to fill. And also there's a lot of support around 124.8. So we'll see how long sell-off goes. XLF is going to present a lot of good opportunities. Basically now it's pumping, looking for, it's not really a pump. I think it's going to most likely top out very soon. And let me bring other moving averages. Let's see, let's bring other moving averages here. Mainly I'm interested in 200, or still above 200, but you can see this yellow line. This yellow line is 50 EMA, still below that, not able to close above that. Also, there's a lot of resistance here around this 200 SMA and EMA. These blue lines are 200 SMA and 200 EMA. So even if we get a little bit more upside, this is a gap here around 33.05. It can fill that and then go down. So maybe tomorrow we'll have a little bit more upside and then we will start getting sell-off. So wait for this sell-off to happen, and it's eventually we'll be getting a lot of good opportunities to buy sometime early June, in 2 weeks from now. Industrial industrial is flat, basically looking for lower prices. Real estate, basically making a bear flag, looking for lower prices on real estate. Tesla had a breakout, very good, but it's very close to this 200 EMA. Also, this downward trend line is coming, so tomorrow we could top out, and also the cycle low is coming here around June. So I think at minimum looking for a little bit of downward pressure. I don't think it's gonna dip. It's not gonna dump so fast. Also, there is there's uh, a gap here around 162. So I think ideal scenario would be to fill this gap and then bounce, and that way we don't have to worry about this gap. But let's see how it goes. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how fast this dumps. So if you're holding Tesla, look to take profits. We're very close to resistance. Tomorrow is a good time to take profits. Wheat. This is again commodity. One thing to know: there's a lot of divergence on wheat. So you can see this since 1 year is just purely selling off, and also I'm still looking to buy wheat, and it's you can see it's just chopping around this downward trend line. Okay, it's not breaking in aggressively, so this looks like a stop action. So eventually I'm looking for a bounce. You can buy wheat ETF WEAT. It's at new 52 weeks low, very good price to buy. Okay, multiple gaps to the upside. Eventually we're going to get a massive bounce. All right, so let's keep going to Apple. Looks like Apple, you can see what's happening. Divergence is happening. New high yesterday, I mean on Friday. Today we gapped down, never filled this gap. This could be a bear flag. So multiple gaps to the downside. This is not the time to be bullish on Apple. You can see if I get rid of this purple line, you can see this purple line was the support trend line. If I draw it nicely here, this is a support trend line, and look at what happened. It back tested it, and you can see we broke out, back tested, now we're going down. So looking for lower prices on Apple. Google still keep going higher. There's no divergence on RSI and PPO. This is a bullish chart, so I can get rid of this. No divergence, but it's very overly extended. Okay, looks like a blow off top look. Okay, so there's a massive gap here. At minimum, when we get this dip, I'm looking for to buy at least around this gap fill around 113. Microsoft, massive gap here around 276. If you go to 1 hour chart, you will see that gap. Also, there's another small gap around 308. So Microsoft is also looks like still on PPO. Let's quickly see. Looks like there's still some divergence on PPO, slight divergence on PPO. You can see still making new high with some slight divergence. RSI is not showing any divergence, but you can see what RSI is telling you. It's telling you it's in a sell zone. Okay, this is a profit taking zone. It's getting green here. Last time it got green here, it dumped. Here, whenever it gets red, it's good to buy. So you can see, let's quickly look at Apple, how it looks like on Apple. Still not green, but on Google, let's see, Google should be green. You can see it's now even darker green. So ideal time to take profits. Okay, Snow looks like it's going to top out very soon. Earnings are coming. Is it this week? Let's see, Wednesday. So we'll see. I think we should top out very soon and then start the dump. That's my expectation. There's multiple gaps on Snow, so look to take profits. Do not go too bullish on Snow. Meta, multiple gaps, looking for those gaps to fill. Also huge divergence. You can see making a new high on PPO. You can see huge divergence, and RSI is also showing huge divergence. So looking for lower prices on Meta, at least to buy the dip. Amazon looks like it already topped out on Thursday, so it's not selling off. There's this gap. Did it fill? Let's quickly go to 1 hour chart and see. Slight gap here, still not filled. So looking for that gap to fill, and then even lower prices. Looking for this trend line, basically this purple trend line. We could do a back test before we go any higher. So looking for that back test. Netflix 0.64%. This massive gap here that will be filled eventually. Okay, do not get too excited on Netflix. This 341 at minimum, looking to fill this gap. Also, there is this support, so at minimum we should be holding here. We'll see how low it goes. Okay, Nvidia looks like it already topped out on Thursday. Again, massive divergence on PPO and RSI, so looking for lower prices, multiple gaps to the downside. AMD was up, again made a new high, still divergences. You can see still divergence on PPO, you can see, and then RSI, I think slight divergence on RSI. You can see we made a new high and still on divergence. Looking for lower prices. I don't know how low it will go, but it's in a resistance zone. This is not the time to buy AMD. Let's see if I have anything else. If you're Canadian stock market holders, this Pizza looking pretty good. It also gives monthly dividends. You can use this 0.72072%, sorry, 0.072 cents per share. You can buy this and hold if you want to put in a long-term portfolio. And let's quickly look at KRE, which is regional bank ETF. I'm looking to buy KRE after this jump in June. So looking for lower prices, equal lows, some divergence when that happens, looking to buy that. Disney, uh, again, it's 0.51% in the buy zone, okay? Anywhere here, looking good to hold for long term. Sophie, massive bounce today, and that's good. Also, it came very close to buy zone a week ago. Now it's bouncing, looking for this. You can see this trend line. Wait for this trend line to break out, backtest, and then go up. Also, this is right on this resistance here. I think it's closed slightly above this 20 EMA white line, and this red line is 50 SMA. That will be the next stop before it makes second decision. Okay, guys, that's it for today. I hope you guys find this very useful, and if you're still here, please hit the like button, and please share with your friends and family. Okay, guys, have a good and nice evening. I'll see you tomorrow, and all the best.